Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city on this Friday. Means we're brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Jacob Beck, Taylor Sharp back there on the ones and twos, fired up here with us. Hope that work week is in the rearview mirror. If it's not, we'll get you to the finish line here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. It's Regional Friday. There is action aplenty. There is weather aplenty. That includes Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and if you have not gotten this news, it just broke in the last 3 minutes. They are in a delay over at Alex Box Stadium right now. The teams, to my understanding, did not warm up on the field. They went to the cages to do that. They kept a tarp on the mound. I think the grounds crew is at the ready right now. And as you're well aware, they're just simply not going to start this thing if it feels like they're 45 minutes or an hour away from having to stop. At some points, it's unavoidable. You've just got too much weather in the area. You're too far behind. You got to get up and get going. At 1 o'clock on Friday, with a really clean weekend ahead, I don't think you're going to see LSU, nor, at this point, honestly, Little Rock, rush out to the field to get a pitcher ready to go hot, throw an inning in a third, and then sit there and watch it rain for 2 hours. And so this is precisely why you play the first game as the host. I know there are a lot of you, myself very much included, y'all know this, that are working at 2 o'clock on a Friday. I got a show 1 to 3. I got to be here. And it bums me out if they're going to start at 2 o'clock on a Friday in a regional that we look forward to all year, and you can't be there because you're chained to the desk. But as a coach, Jay Johnson's responsibility is to do the best thing for his team. And the best thing for his team is to make sure that you can get this game in today. And I would be stunned if LSU could not play today. It's just a matter of when we start things up. Let's go out to Alex Box Stadium. That's where we find Michael Cauble, sports director, not meteorologist at WBRZ Channel 2. He's at the box. Cauble, what's the word over there?
Yeah, so if you didn't know, basically they're in an indefinite weather delay right now, and I think it's going to be a lengthy one. They said there's lightning in the area. There are some dark clouds behind the stadium, but this one was never going to start on time. Just talking to our meteorologist, Josh Eatrick, he said there's a window from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock where there's going to be potential for severe weather. He didn't think that there was any chance that there was not a lightning delay at some point. And just so you know, something I found out yesterday talking to the NCAA site rep, they're looking for an hour and a half of clean play before they really start the game. And what that translates into is 45-minute warm-up period for that as well. So you're really looking at 2 hours and 15 minutes of uninterrupted field action, right? And they don't feel like they have that window in front of them right now, which is why we're in this delay. And it's also why I don't think you're going to see a start to this game until after 3:30, 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock even kind of situation. So again, I think it's going to be a fairly lengthy delay, something we're getting used to around these parts, right?
Yeah.
And Little Rock is in the batting cages. One of the things they did earlier, they decided to do no on-field warm-ups for BP. They're going to just do BP in the cages. Little Rock's in there now. Both teams are still here. Obviously, they haven't sent anybody home at this point. So it's all subject to change. It is literally the weather, but based on kind of the information that we've been gathering in the last 24 hours, I feel pretty confident that this one's going to be a lengthy delay.
Is the tarp on the field?
Tarp is not on the field, and nobody's made any actions to go get the tarp. As of yet, the grounds crew is standing by. They're ready to rock and roll. And, we'll tweet out updates when that happens, if that happens. But that's it right now.
So, to this point, nobody's really done any warming up on the field. Nobody's gotten ready to play. The anticipation for over an hour has been that we're probably not going to start on time. So, nobody ramped it up over there and having to cool down.
Exactly. It was a slow warm-up, talking to the site rep. That's one of the things we talked about. They wanted to make sure that both teams understood that. Both teams agreed to that. The most action we've seen is Little Rock walking down to the cages. Some pitchers went down to the bullpen and changed their shoes. So that tells you that, nothing's happening anytime soon. So, I think, again, this was expected by everybody pretty much in the know. Kind of saw it coming, played towards that eventuality, and here we are in the middle of it. And they left it open, as they're not saying it's a 45-minute delay. They're not saying, well, I'm sorry, so here we go, Little Rock's coming back from the cages right now, walking out of the cages, walking down the right field line, and then walk over to their dugout. And then we'll have a better idea, right? If we see them all jump up and get on a bus and head out of here, then we know it's going to be a real lengthy delay. If not, they are staying downtown, I think. I don't know. I talked to all the teams yesterday and tried to figure out where their hotels were. But so again, there's different tells, that you can pick up from doing this time and time again. And so I'll get you updated if you see something of note, that changes.
So I know. Go ahead.
The lineup is posted in the LSU dugout. They obviously don't like us to show that or tweet that out. Interestingly enough, the starter is covered up, right? The batting order. The batting order is available to look at, but the starting pitcher is covered up. So that's Jay will Jay until the day is done.
That is the greatest nugget I've gotten all baseball season. The man is just relentless when it comes to that. That's incredible stuff. Last thing,
we're getting
go ahead.
We're getting some raindrops actually.
Okay,
a couple raindrops.
That's disappointing, but not unexpected. I do know for sure during Southeastern Conference play that the home team is in charge of when you start the game. Once you start the game, it's the umpire's discretion. At this point, we believe it's the NCAA who's in charge with maybe some consulting of the head coach.
I'll give you a little update on that too, right? Because that's the question I asked after the last time we did this, right? Like, how much influence do the head coaches have? Because we all know Jay's not going to want to start a game. If there's the potential, right? The site rep told me that this is all NCAA run.
Okay.
And the reason that they do that is they really want to prepare the teams for Omaha when they get there because they have no say in the matter in Omaha. Here, you might have a little bit of input, and certainly you talk to the locals, whether that be local meteorologists, local field grounds crew, all those kinds of people have input, right? But ultimately it is up to the site reps to make the decision. So this is an NCAA decision. They actually have the radar up on the board right now. It looks like there's a strong cell south in West Baton Rouge Parish. So looks like it'll clip just south of the box, but it's certainly significant enough, and it's inside our and it's got lightning attached to it, so you can kind of see the strike. So good job on them, right? Doing their part and making sure everybody's safe. And but that one cell is moving through. I don't think it's the one cell we're worried about. I think it's more of the front that's associated with it. Still a couple hours behind, or at least an hour away.
Well, I won't be there until about 3:30. I do have a seat in the press box, so if you need somewhere to sit down, you got it.
Good news for you, Hunt Palmer. You do. You have a front row seat. I was very concerned when I saw that. I was like, how that? But they're like, man, they got other slappies up there. They got seats too. That I'm like, who are these people? I've never even heard of these people. So at least you have a front row seat. I have a second row seat. I'll be sitting behind you, throwing popcorn at you if this game ever gets going.
That's all good. Can't wait to get there. Thanks for your help, Cobble. We'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Be good.
He is Michael Cobble over there at WBRZ. So if you're just jumping in, you're jumping out of work, you're trying to blitz over to the box to get there for a 2 o'clock start, LSU and Little Rock are delayed. This is an NCAA call. You recall 2 years ago when LSU got into this, well, it wasn't this spot in the regional, but it was the Saturday game of the regional. They did start against Oregon State, and they did play 3 innings, and Ty Floyd did start, and then he was pulled from the game because there was a rain delay. Thatcher Hurd had to come in. They just want to avoid that at all costs. That's not the best way for a team that's worked for 4 months of regular season play, going back to August. They've worked a lot longer than that to get ready for postseason play. You don't want to compromise a team by getting a pitcher ready to go and then having to sit him down. So not completely unexpected. I actually liked the forecast all week. I thought it looked okay. Friday always looked like the toughest spot. Saturday, Sunday, Monday look really good. So I'm not concerned that you're going to get completely backed up this weekend. That's coming from someone who has literally zero weather training whatsoever and has no idea what he's doing. I was looking at my stupid weather apps. I have 2 of them on my phone. Yesterday, one of them said like 24%. The other one said like 88%. Well, 88 wins, I guess, because it looks like we're going to be delayed and it is going to rain. But no one ever knows. But right now, we do know that LSU and Little Rock are not going to start on time. If you missed the meat of that, that is classic Jay Johnson right there. I have been down there, so y'all know that I do some work with the LSU Sports Radio Network, and part of when I do color for the network with Chris Blair, I go down and meet Jay Johnson in the dugout about 2 hours before the game starts, record a quick 4-minute interview, send it to the producer, and it plays during the pregame show. And I do always notice the lineup is always right there, and it sometimes gives me something to ask. Oh, like earlier this year, they put Dickinson in the leadoff spot, and I asked a question because I saw it taped up to the wall. Well, they knew that the media could come down there, and Jay literally taped over the starting pitcher on the lineup in the dugout, so no media, little TV guy couldn't zoom in from the side and tweet out the starting pitcher. The man is nothing if not consistent and maniacal. Some people think that's absolutely nuts. I think that there is a method to his madness, whether you think it's reasonable or not. He just doesn't see any benefit at all in the other team knowing who his starting pitcher is before they absolutely have to. And that's the way he's always going to operate. And that's going to be the case today. So I can't give you a starting pitcher today because it's taped over in the dugout. But we do have a weather update, and LSU and Little Rock will not start on time. So that's kind of our open to the show. We're going to take a time out. We're going to come back, and we're actually going to start the show. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
All right, Friday show is brought to you by Corks Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Rain delay food. Need some? Corks Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp headed out to the box tomorrow. Hopefully LSU is playing at about 5 o'clock tomorrow. Hopefully LSU is playing at 8 o'clock on Sunday. But you're looking at a tailgate out at the box this weekend. Corks Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. They can feed a ton. Catering is one of their specialties over at Corks. Big old trays of that crispy fried catfish, jumbo Gulf shrimp, shoestring fries, honey butter roll, coleslaw, all the sauces. I'm partial to the Cork sauce myself. A little mayo base, a little bit of kick. I like it a ton. But they got your tartar sauce, cocktail sauce, all that as well. Recipe born right here in the seafood capital of the world, South Louisiana. It's Corks Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Check out the menu online, corksfishandshrimp.com. All right, appreciate Michael Cobble for giving us a little bit of time at the top of the show. We didn't get things started as we usually do, so let's do that now with our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
All right, let's look around at what's going on in regional play right now because I find it to be incredibly fascinating on a number of levels. Florida is the 2 seed in Conway. Coastal Carolina is the 1. And Florida, who's got a great 1-2 punch. You got Liam Peterson and Aiden King, who have been phenomenal as Florida has kind of run through the second half of SEC play. So Kevin O'Sullivan said, all right, well, I realize that Coastal's our second game. They've got a really good pitching staff. We'll have to match up with a good pitcher there. But we're still going to throw our true ace in the first game. We'll go with Liam Peterson. Liam Peterson got annihilated in Conway. East Carolina lit him up like a Christmas tree. And you might go, well, East Carolina is good. Like, that's not surprising. Well, East Carolina has been good. Like, last year's East Carolina team had Trey Savage, who was a first-round pick as the ace, and their number 2 was Zach Root, who's currently leading the Arkansas rotation. So, yeah, that team was really good. This is a team that went 13-14 in the American, East Carolina, and had to get through and win their conference tournament to even get in the field. And they are up 10-2 on Florida right now. Now, the good news for Florida, if you want to take a small sliver of that, is that Liam Peterson didn't last long enough to be burned for the weekend. He didn't make it out of the second inning. So he'll be available come Sunday night or Monday if you can get there. But going down 10-2 in the 6th inning is not ideal for the Florida Gators. And speaking of a kind of a name brand in the sport getting clubbed, Cincinnati jumps all over Wake Forest, and I thought Tom Walter at Wake Forest, the head coach there, made a decision I would not have made. He started his only real ace, Morningstar, today. That's their best pitcher. They don't have like 4 of them like they had the last 2 years. They had 1. And I thought they would save him for Tennessee tomorrow. They're in Knoxville. They're playing Cincinnati. They're the 2 seed. Thought they would save Morningstar. They did not. Morningstar gave up 8 runs in 2 innings. Now, Wake has clawed back and scored 3 in the bottom of the second, so maybe they'll get back in this game. They're only down 5. They were down 8-0. But the interesting part of this is if Cincinnati wins this game, Cincinnati runs more than any team in the tournament. They've got well over 100 steals on the year. And Marcus Phillips is Tennessee's number 2. He's going to pitch for Tennessee tomorrow. If Cincinnati plays Tennessee, Marcus Phillips is the worst pitcher in college baseball at holding runners on. And Cincinnati runs more than anybody in the tournament. So they are going to green light anybody they get on base tomorrow if they get out of this game with Wake and Phillips starts tomorrow, which he's supposed to. I think it's interesting that you're looking at a situation where Tony Vitello could have saved Liam Doyle, a left-hander, for Cincinnati potentially, or Wake Forest, to limit that running game or against a better team than you're going to see tonight. But Tony Vitello just doesn't change his rotation. I was stunned by Tony Vitello 2 years ago in the Omaha opener where LSU was throwing Paul Skeens. He did not move Chase Dolander up. Dolander had been moved back to the number 2 spot during SEC play. They were throwing Andrew Lindsey, who was fine, but he wasn't as good as Chase Dolander. And Tony Vitello doesn't change his rotation. This is the rotation. It's the rotation against the SEC. It's the rotation in the regional. It's the super. It's Omaha. This is how we order our pitchers. And I disagreed with that, and I disagree with it this time. And we'll see if Cincinnati wins this game, if they can make Tennessee pay for that. The other game in progress, North Carolina's playing Holy Cross. North Carolina has the ACC Pitcher of the Year. And he's their ace. And in their regional is Kyson Witherspoon and Oklahoma as the 2 seed. Kyson Witherspoon is probably going to be about the 8th pick in the draft. You know him. LSU went up there and played in Norman. And Kyson Witherspoon and Cade Anderson went head-to-head on a Thursday. And LSU won a 2-0 game that Cade Anderson threw a 134-pitch complete game shutout in. But Witherspoon is a dude. And North Carolina knew as of Thursday morning that Oklahoma was saving Kyson Witherspoon for them. Whether they get there or not, that remains to be seen. But they were saving him. And North Carolina is playing Holy Cross today in Chapel Hill. Holy Cross is 31-25 on the season. 6 games over 500. And North Carolina trotted out the ACC Pitcher of the Year in this game and will not have him if they play Oklahoma tomorrow against Kyson Witherspoon. Now, it's going well. North Carolina's up 4-0. They're not bashing everything all over the place, and their ace has held Holy Cross to nothing. So maybe it's the right decision, but I wouldn't have done it. Because I think if Oklahoma, with Malachi Witherspoon pitching today, becomes a favorite tomorrow against North Carolina, who's going to be pitching their number 2? Now, that depends on Oklahoma winning tonight. And that's certainly not a given. But I think that was an aggressive play, maybe a reckless play by North Carolina. But you could also say if they send their number 2 out there and he doesn't shut him out like is going on right now, well, maybe that's a bit of an issue. A couple other scores that are just in progress. No score. East Tennessee State and Louisville. That's in Vandy's region up in Nashville. They are scoreless in the top of the first. And Houston Christian and Texas are underway from Austin. That's also in the top of the first. Have you seen the time-lapse video? It's incredible. On Wednesday, a big storm blew through Austin and blew the batter's eye and the center field fence clean over in Austin. And they've had crews out there literally since it happened, getting the wall put back together. It looks like it never happened, which is awesome, but could have been a bit of an issue. So that's your scoreboard. Let me go back to what I'm saying with North Carolina and Holy Cross and them throwing the ACC Pitcher of the Year today. I think that's a bad move. I don't think, and I talked about this on Tuesday and Wednesday, that LSU throwing either Cade Anderson or Anthony Ianson today is a bad move because you have 2. Ideally, you would get through today, if I'm pie in the sky world with Jaden Newt, DJ Primo, and William Schmidt logging 9 innings and beating Little Rock 14-3. But that's not necessarily realistic. North Carolina's got 4 today on Holy Cross. So while I wouldn't throw Paul Skeens today with Ty Floyd, I'm okay with Anderson or Ianson because you know tomorrow night, should you win today, that you've got one of those 2 dudes under the lights at the box against a team that's not quite as good as you, whether it's DBU or Rhode Island, and you feel like you're in command of the regional at that point. This is a unique position for LSU to be in relative to me watching them over the last 25 years. I can't specifically recall a 1-2 that looked like this. Like, in name brand, I can go back to 2012, and I can give you Kevin Gausman and Aaron Nola, but Aaron Nola wasn't Aaron Nola yet. I could give you Jared Poche and Alex Lang, but Jared Poche didn't play any professional baseball. I think he went half a year. Like, he was a great college pitcher. He's the all-time wins leader at LSU. I'm not here to disparage Jared Poche's career. It was awesome. But from a talent perspective, he doesn't match up with Cade Anderson, who's probably a top 5 pick now, and Anthony Ianson, who's probably a top 40 pick right now. So to me, I'm good with either one. I'm confident in saying that LSU is going to throw one of them, and we'll find out, I think, once they announce a start time, which one that will be tonight. They were both pitching on Friday. Jay Johnson immediately came to the podium after that game and said, look, I threw them in this game, so they're both on the same rest. They can both get into their routine, and both can be ready on Friday, and one will be ready on Saturday. And they've been able to do that. If you had thrown Anthony Ianson for 112 pitches on Saturday, you wouldn't feel quite as good about bringing him back today, and you didn't know who you were going to play. We didn't find out Little Rock was the opponent until Monday. So you prepared as best you could. And Jay Johnson told his team right after that win on Friday against Texas A&M that he knew once they walked off the field in Game 3 on Saturday in Columbia against South Carolina that, hey, this is what we're doing, and this is what we're going to move forward with these two guys in the first game of the SEC tournament now that we know we're playing on Friday. And that's what they've done. So LSU is set up right now. They're in good shape, and it's just time to go play some of your best baseball of the year. I want to talk about the form that LSU's offense carried in Hoover and is bringing to the box this weekend, because I think it's important to kind of discuss that before we get things cranked up today. I do want to mention that we're going to talk to Preston Guy, as we always do on Fridays. We're going to talk to him at 2:15. We'll have Luke Johnson coming up in 30 minutes talking about the Saints in a QB battle. But it is Regional Friday. There's college baseball. It's the best time of the year for me, and we're going to talk some more baseball when we come back. What about LSU's offense? That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. When you think Genesis, you think luxury. When you think luxury, don't think, that's expensive. Genesis model has been and will be a luxury vehicle and a luxury experience at a reasonable price. Just go to the website, GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Browse around. Whether you're looking for a sedan, SUV, family size, whatever the case is, they can have you covered over at Genesis. What I highly recommend you do, though, is stop by Airline at Piku, right across from Women's Hospital, and just go chat with one of their brand ambassadors. It's as helpful a staff as you will have encountered in the car business. I know there are stereotypes out there about salespeople and being aggressive and pushy and upselling and taking advantage and all these types of things, and those stereotypes exist for a reason. You will not experience that for a second at Genesis. You will feel like a guest, not a customer. It's an experience from start to finish, from the purchase all the way through the ownership at Genesis. Check them out, Genesis of Baton Rouge. They're online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
So, some news from the box. Not a lot, but it is raining now, according to those who are there and tweeting furiously, and the tarp is out. So, as Caldwell told us at the top of the show, you're looking at probably closer to 435, 536. So, if you just extrapolate this out, say LSU plays at 6. That game ends at 9. You're going to see the 2 and 3 seed, Rhode Island and Dallas Baptist, start their game at 10. And they're not going to finish until 1 o'clock in the morning. And that's the exact scenario that Jay Johnson and really most of the coaches want to avoid. I'm looking right now. So the teams they're the 1 seeds that have chosen to play late. Coastal's playing late. Tennessee's playing late. Vanderbilt's playing late. I know Ole Miss is playing late as well. Southern Miss is playing late. But most of them are playing early. You've seen North Carolina play early. You've seen Tennessee play early. Georgia's playing early. LSU's playing early. Arkansas is playing early. UCLA is playing early. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag. But I firmly side on the playing early type deal. Now, Jay said that when he was at Arizona, they wanted to play late because it never rains in Tucson, and he wants those 2 and 3 seeds to melt in the 900-degree desert heat. So I get that. You got the driest climate in the country, then you might as well push it back, play under the lights, and hope you win and you can get the rest of the next day. If you lose, you got to come back and play pretty quickly. So that's the deal from over there at the box. They're in a delay, and we don't have a start time, but we anticipate sometime in the early evening, LSU and Little Rock will get underway. I know a lot of folks are concerned about the offense, and that's completely reasonable. They were bad in Hoover. I mean, they got shut out for the only time all year, the last time you watched them play, and it wasn't by an ace. It was by Ole Miss's bullpen, freshman bullpen arm. Talented, but still, bullpen arms. And it wasn't like they lit up the scoreboard in Columbia against a terrible pitching staff, and you still have the memories of Auburn, the memories of College Station, the memories of the first 18 innings against Tennessee where you couldn't hit Doyle, and then you had 1 inning in game 1, and then you couldn't hit Phillips, and it didn't erupt until the 3rd game of that series, and that's all reasonable. I'm not here to tell you that LSU is a juggernaut on offense. I'm not. What I am here to tell you is that there is very little correlation between Hoover performance and NCAA tournament performance. Okay? Like, just go back a little bit. Go to the Mississippi State team that won the national championship in 2021. They went 0-2 and got run ruled twice. Won the Natty. Ole Miss went to Hoover, absolutely had to win. Lost their opener, went home, waited, were the last team in, went and won the Natty. LSU in 2023 went to Hoover and just was not any good. Tommy White couldn't play. Skeens got pulled early. They got beat by Arkansas when he played. They went 1-2. The offense wasn't great. I talked to a number of players for a feature story I wrote on Will Helmers before the season started, and they said, like, there was a team meeting when they got back from Hoover. No, in Hoover, sorry, at the hotel when they finished the game before they came back from Hoover, where, like, some guys got up and got emotional about, like, the way that they were playing. Because if you'll remember, they lost 2 out of 3 to Auburn. They blew a big lead and lost 2 out of 3 to a terrible Mississippi State team. And they just got out of Athens by the skin of their teeth with 2 wins. And then they went to Hoover and didn't play well. And it was like 3 of the last 4 weeks, they hadn't been that good. And they had a big emotional talk. And Beloso spoke, and Helmer spoke, and Cruz spoke. And they kind of got on the same page. And they came out, and they played really well in the regional. It wasn't perfect on Saturday. You had Floyd got hit a little bit, and it took him a while to get going, but they won the game. And then the Super, they were just gangbusters. But that's on the teams that didn't play well that went and were awesome in the postseason. Like LSU last year was awesome in Hoover. You thought they probably needed to win on Tuesday. They brought Jump back on short rest. He was good. Then Holman pitched. He was good. And you got all the way to the championship game. Great. Then you faced Wofford, who couldn't even throw Cowan, their ace. And you needed to hit 3 home runs in the last 2 innings, including a walk-off by Milam, to win the game against Wofford's number 2. And then you got beat by Carolina the next night. I watched LSU blitz the field in Hoover in 2010. They were riding high going to UCLA. They almost got beat by Irvine. They needed Trey Watkins to hit a walk-off double to beat the 3-seed Irvine in that regional. Now, last year, Tennessee was awesome in Hoover. And they went through and won the national championship. So I'm not saying that, like, it's an inverse. It's the exact opposite. What I'm saying is I'm not panicked that LSU didn't score in Hoover. You know what's a really good remedy for some slumping bats? 13,000 fans in the box, the wind blowing out a little bit because it's late May, early June, and Little Rock and Rhode Island pitching to you. That's a pretty good remedy to wake up some bats. And still, when you look at LSU's numbers, like, they're good offensively on the whole. They're not for the weekend in Auburn. They're not for the weekend in Norman. They're not from the weekend in Austin. They're not from the weekend in College Station. They're not from Hoover. But there were games they blew the doors off Arkansas, blew the doors off Tennessee, blew the doors off Mississippi State, knocked Missouri around, obviously, did enough against South Carolina. And when you look at the midweek, and I would suggest that there's some similar pitching at Southeastern and Northwestern, or Nichols. Northwestern's probably a bad example. They 10-run LSU. McNeese, that was a really good team this year. Probably some similar arms to what Rhode Island's going to be throwing at you on Saturday or Sunday. Maybe Dallas Baptist. Like, Dallas Baptist has some dudes. They do. But I think LSU's going to hit this weekend. I'm not telling you they're a shoe-in to make it through, but I'm not panicked over what went on in Hoover. And here's the beauty of LSU's offense as it relates to, like, winning games. When you look at what they're asked to do, I feel like when called upon, Anthony Ionson's going to pitch it really good. When called upon, Cade Anderson's going to pitch it really good. Same goes for Evans and Cowan and Shores. Same goes for Newton, the guys that have been really good late. And the defense has been awesome all year. Braswell's playing a good third base. Milam's a lead at shortstop. Dickinson's a lead at second base. Your catching's improved. I know Stanfield had a rough day in College Station. I know he had a play he could have made in Hoover, but he's a good defensive outfielder. Curiel's a good defensive outfielder. I feel really good with either Brown or Pearson in right field. It's going to be a lot of Brown this weekend because you're facing a lot of right-handed pitching. But your pitching and defense should be good. You should hold all the teams in this regional until you get to the bare end of your pitching staff, which is going to take a while. You should hold all these teams to 4 or 5 runs. Like, I feel comfortable saying that. If one of these teams breaks out and scores 9 on LSU in one of the big games, I'm going to be annoyed. and surprised. I think LSU will hold these teams to 4 or 5 runs. And for that reason, I'm not as concerned about the offense because I feel like the offense is going to score 4 or 5 runs every single game. I feel like there's a good chance when we start this thing against Little Rock that LSU is going to score 9 or 11 runs. And if Levesque, whenever they play, and Levesque is Rhode Island's ace, who shut Oregon out for 10 innings, if he goes tonight or tomorrow morning when they play, and he's really good, and LSU beats Little Rock and plays Rhode Island without Levesque, I think LSU is going to score 12 with either Anderson or Ryanson on the mound. And I think they're going to win. So while I understand some trepidation about LSU's offense to this point, as it relates to this weekend, with these opponents in this order, I feel great about it. I feel great about LSU's chances to win this regional. It will be a sizable upset if they don't. And you know that, but we're hardwired to watch these guys every game and analyze it, and that passion makes this awesome. But I think sometimes we little bit lose the plot nationally because we're so fixated on what's going on locally. And so I feel good about LSU's offense. I think they're going to score when called upon. I think Jay Johnson feels that way as well. I told you yesterday that coming out of that pressure cooker of SEC play, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air. Now, don't tell that to Florida because they showed up and couldn't get East Carolina out. They're losing 10-2. But I have a good feeling about LSU this weekend. And we'll see what awaits should they get through that. But I feel like LSU's in a really good spot to take care of their business this weekend. And we'll see when it starts. If you're just jumping in the car and not sure what's going on, LSU and Little Rock are delayed. The tarp is on the field at the box. It is raining. There's no start time determined at this point. Michael Caldwell joined us at the top of the show to tell us that, hey, they need an hour and a half clean on the radar. If they don't have an hour and a half clean, they're not doing anything. What that means is 45 minutes of warm-up and 45 minutes to play. So they don't anticipate having that until about 4 o'clock. I do know this from sitting at the box, and I'll go on the record here. I'm never more popular. Never more popular. Not on my birthday, not on the birth of my child. I'm never more popular than when there's a rain delay at the box because everybody has a feeling that I know what's going on immediately. One, I'm not there right now. But two, I generally find out when you do because somebody makes a decision. They tell Bill Franquez. Bill Franquez tells the stadium, and the media tweets it out. If I'm there, I tweet it out, or I have it there, or I put it on LouisianaSports.net. If I'm not, I read it at the same time as you all do on Twitter. But I don't know what this looks like, and I'm going to get a lot of text messages asking about it. But it looks like, based on what other people are saying, that it's going to be somewhere closer to 5 o'clock when LSU finally gets this thing cranked up against Little Rock. So we're moving along here on a Friday show. We're brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. We'll step aside, come back, and close out hour number 1. Preston Guy and Luke Johnson in hour number 2 on The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. Whole team on wild.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Closing up hour number one here on a Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Troubling news out of, I guess, technically Los Angeles that hit the Twitter streets today. Zion Williamson, of course, Pelicans star, has been accused of rape by an ex-girlfriend who's not named in the public lawsuit. Jane Doe is the name that they'll use there. There are further accusations. I'm completely for everyone having their day in court. Zion Williamson's attorney has already put out a statement saying that everything is categorically false. They take the accusations very seriously, but they're false, and that's the way generally these things start. And I'm not here to litigate the incidents that are being reported. Like, that's for the court to do. That's for the attorneys to handle and the judge to rule upon. But what you can say is that Zion Williamson's time in New Orleans has been littered with more issues away from the court, whether that be injuries, lack of communication, weight room issues, Twitter rumors, and now legal issues. And you have to wonder at this point if there's ever going to be anything that comes of his career, anything of note that comes from his career on the court in New Orleans. Clearly, any allegations that are brought forth that are deemed accurate and then there's a conviction are far more important than windmill dunks and pull-up jump shots. But this is a sports show, and I'd like to talk about the sports impact of this legal issue. And New Orleans made the decision to move on from Brandon Ingram and keep Zion Williamson as part of its core. And I just don't know that there's any reason at this point to believe that Zion Williams is ever going to be a part of a core of a winning basketball team in New Orleans. And there's reason now to suggest that he may have played his last game in New Orleans. Again, that'll be for the court to decide. But I'm just sitting here looking at the ledger of basketball accomplishments and non-basketball issues that New Orleans has to deal with, and it's imbalanced, and it's a disaster. So I'll open the mics to y'all, Beck and Taylor. Like, is there any reason to suggest there is any future for Zion Williamson on the floor as a successful basketball player on a good team in New Orleans? And I'll have thrown the blanket on our entire discussion. We all realize if this is a conviction, we got far bigger deals to worry about than the Pelicans, but that's where our discussion is right now.
In New Orleans, no. My bigger thing is now, like, even if he is innocent of all this, like, who's going to trade for him? What big team's going to trade for him? Even if nothing comes of this, there's still that accusation out there. Pelicans are kind of tied up with it. That's where it's at. You can't trade him. He won't play. She's kind of stuck.
Yeah, it's I mean, you just wondered which twist or turn was going to happen. Every year, it's something with Zion Williamson. There hasn't been a year free of some sort of issue, whether it's an injury or you know, just rumors swirling around about his commitment to, you know, really wanting to be in shape, and so it. And yet here we are again with another wrench thrown into the plan of having Zion Williamson be the franchise player for the Pelicans, and this is just really sad for the team, for the fans, because we've gone through having first round picks, having the Chris Pauls and Anthony Davises, and this is just another. This is just going to be another failure, and not really to any fault of the franchise, besides, you know, evaluating, you know, the player, I suppose.
It's not as if John Morant was going to come with no issues.
Yeah.
And that was the decision.
Right. It was Ja or Zion. So this really just sucks for the team and for the fans, and no matter what happens, like Taylor said, no matter what happens, whether he is completely exonerated, it's still going to be a stain on his reputation that this even came out at all. So. What the Pelicans can get is questionable at best.
What this all boils down to is we really thought for some time that the injuries were the biggest problem.
Right.
What to me has become the biggest problem with Zion is his decision-making is often terrible. Whether that's with diet, whether that's with the people that surround him, whether that's with the communication with people around him, whether it's the organization or his representation or all that. And then certainly, if this comes to light and is true, that's horrendous decision-making. So this is a common theme that has, to me, trumped the pulled hamstring or, you know, whatever, the rolled ankle or the blown-out shoe at Duke. Like, he just makes bad decisions time and time and time again. And at a certain point, if you're 18 and 19, you go, okay, well, let's just see if we can grow up. Well, how many years have you been in the league now? He's been in the league, 6 years? Like, I don't know that there's reason to believe that a lot of his behavior is going to change. He's just, to this point, a poor decision maker.
Yeah.
And that's someone who, as the face of your franchise, that's not going to work.
No, it's not. And sometimes, we've seen it happen before with guys that are number one overall picks. Sometimes they just can't handle the pressure and just the expectations that come with being the number one pick, and you know, people just expect so much of you, and sometimes people can't handle it. And it seems that Zion at every turn has really struggled to handle all of the weight of those pressures. So hopefully none of this, nothing comes of this, but no matter what, this is just another, like I said, this is just another, you know, mark on his legacy with the Pelicans, and it doesn't seem that it's ever going to become good.
It's a bad legacy. It's been a bad run here for the Pelicans when it looked like they were turning the corner with a nucleus that could compete in the Western Conference, at least in the middle of it. Not the case anymore. All right, that's it for hour one. Our Friday shows, as always, brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. If you got a hankering for a po' boy, Friday's a great time to get on by Cork's. Get a big old shrimp po' boy. It's awesome, awesome stuff. My guy Glenn West, native New Orleanian, who comes on every Tuesdays, He walked over there, got a po' boy when he heard all about it on the show. So he goes, that's some good stuff. It's great. Go check them out over there on Government Between Foster and Jefferson. See the menu online at corksfishandshrimp.com. Open the show with Michael Cauble. Appreciate him hopping aboard from the box. If you're just jumping in, look, it's raining over at the box. Tarps on the field. They got a delay. We'll see when they can get started over there with Game Run 1 of the Baton Rouge Regional. We will keep you posted if we hear anything over the next hour and 5 minutes. But right now, no word. So we're going to move on and talk a little bit about football. If you missed any of the first hour, still time to catch it on demand wherever you find your sound, certainly on YouTube as well. Got Saints OTA talk, quarterback competition talk. That's coming up here in 5 minutes. Preston Guy talking some LSU football recruiting in 20 minutes from right now at 2:15. And hopefully we'll have more updates from the box, and I'll get you caught up on the regional scoreboard in the second hour as well. Hope your Friday's going well. Stay dry and safe out there. We got 1 hour to go. We'll pause for Sports Center for national headlines. Back with the last hour of the week of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
I'm Doug Brown. The Knicks and Pacers go back to Indiana for Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern for the coverage here on ESPN Radio. Knicks center Karl Anthony Towns says they'll need to play the same way they did in Game 5.
We have to. It's we have no more room for error. It's our backs against the wall, and it's every game is do or die. So we don't bring that energy, we don't bring that execution. Our season will be over.
Karl Anthony Towns, a woman is accusing Pelicans forward Zion Williamson of sexual, physical, emotional, and financial abuse during their 5-year relationship. Williamson started dating the woman during his freshman year at Duke in 2018. The Vikings signed GM Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah to a new contract. He was hired 3 years ago after a quick rise through the NFL. Adolfo-Mensah played basketball at Princeton and also worked on Wall Street. The Angels will activate outfielder Mike Trout before tonight's game against the Guardians in Cleveland.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We're brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. A lot of baseball talk in the first hour. LSU and Little Rock were supposed to get underway 3 minutes ago. They have not. Tarp is on the field at the box. They are delayed. We'll let you know if we get any word. No start time officially has been announced. A man who has sat through a rain delay or two at Alec Box Stadium in his old days on the beat. Luke Johnson, now covering the New Orleans Saints, joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Do you miss just hammering chili dogs during rain delays?
Well, look, I was about to say you're giving me PTSD, and then you brought up the chili dogs, and now it's just a fond memory,
The man had a running Twitter count of chili dogs on Twitter.
Yeah, the chili dog counter. I think it was the great chili dog counter of 2017, if I remember right. I housed I think like 56 or 60 of them in during the home games that season.
Did you bring that to your cardiologist's attention, or just let that one slide?
Oh well, I would have if I've ever gone to a cardiologist, but like my wife, who at that point we'd been married for a year, she was like, "You better friggin' never do this again," because it was like, I mean, it was like what I was known for, which is like the dumbest thing. Just like housing chili dogs, and she's just like, you're gonna kill yourself doing this. And then I went to Omaha that year, and I ate a 18-inch calzone on a Facebook Live feed. Yeah, not a good year for my body.
Yeah, but a great year for your career, and it's parlayed you into the National Football League. So let's talk a little bit about that. The Saints OTAs have been up and running the last few days, and obviously the stories have been around Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shough. I'll kind of leave it open-ended. Anything stand out between those two through a week?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's like not really like a lot of like really important takeaways we can have right now. Like it's not really super competitive stuff that they're doing. Like the only like quasi-competitive thing they're doing is 7-on-7, and there's like no Tyrann Mathieu out there. Quincy Riley, their rookie corner, has not participated yet. Like, and there's no pass rush, so like you can't really look at this and say, "But like, wow, this is what it's going to be." But you can take some like individual things away from it, and like, the book on Tyler Shough coming out was that he had a great arm, like one of the best arms in this draft class, and that has like totally showed up in these OTA practices. He made 4 throws yesterday that were just like spectacular. He had 2 bombs. Drew a lot of eyeballs, but I think the better ones were he made this great layered throw. His tight end was doing like kind of a deep over from the left to the right side, and he like perfectly put it in between the linebacker and the safety who were kind of converging on the player. Like great touch with zip on the throw. It was really impressive. And then I think his best throw of the day, he was like moving to his left, resetting himself and making an off-platform throw, like 20 yards downfield to somebody who was in pretty tight coverage, and he put it like in the perfect spot, like where the receiver can make a play on it. He didn't make the play, but it's like that type of stuff that kind of gets you excited. Will he continue to do this when he has a 270-pound edge rusher screaming in his face? Like, who knows? But it's like really encouraging to see that stuff. And I think Spencer Rattler's been pretty good too. But like, again, like all this stuff has such a dramatic potential to change by the time September rolls around.
No doubt. Do you think there's, I don't know if y'all have talked to Spencer Rattler or not in the last week, but do you think there's a different attitude for him with Derek Carr not being there, feeling like there's a chance for him to propel his career? Or do you think he feels like, well, they drafted this guy in the second round, they're probably gonna give him an advantage here?
I like he is such and I'm saying this in a good way. It might sound bad, but like he's like an irrationally confident person. I think he understood coming into last year that there wasn't really like a realistic chance that he was going to like beat out Derek Carr to be the starting quarterback. But like he definitely came in to the league being like, I can do this. And I don't think that's changed. And I don't think adding Tyler Shuck to the mix is like a problem for him or something that's going to be hard for him to overcome. Like he's somebody who very much believes in himself. So I think his attitude has been the right one. He's just like, I don't care. I bring whoever else in here. I'm going to go compete with them. And I believe in myself and my ability to go do it. Like, we'll see if he can do it. I think he's definitely got an uphill battle. Like, there's a new coaching staff that already has invested in the other guy. And that definitely gives him a leg up. But like, I don't think that stuff is bothering Spencer Rattler.
How much more fun is training camp going to be from that perspective, watching that, and then even preseason games, which are kind of a malaise for the most part. But these two guys theoretically should be duking it out a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a lot more fun just from the standpoint of I'm not going to have like everybody in my ear telling me how much they hate Derek Carr. like we're past that now, baby. I'm so excited for that. It's going to be good, man. Like I think it's going to be a way better version of a couple years ago when they had Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill, in a quarterback camp battle, where everybody was just like, it's going to be Jameis, right? It was like a competition in name only. Like this, I think is really legitimate. Like they want to see who's going to be their guy. And while I think people do feel that Shuck does have to leg up, like I don't think it's at all like a foregone conclusion that he's going to be their starter. So it's going to make training camp practices interesting. It's going to make preseason games interesting. It's going to make them matter more. Even if like we're talking about a quarterback who is going to be leading a team who wins 4 games this year, like that stuff is still, it's still like, this is potentially your future at the position. So like I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it's a completely different perspective. We're chatting with Luke Johnson at @ByLukeJohnson on Twitter, where you can find all of his coverage of the Black and Gold. He's with us on Fridays. If I made you, here's a hypothetical, I made you wager injury-free, everybody's healthy the whole season, do you think the Saints have one starting quarterback for 17 games or more than one starting quarterback?
I'm going to say one. And I'm going to say it's going to be Shuck.
Yeah.
I feel like just the investment, the new staff, like that stuff does matter. And on top of that, like I really like what I've seen from Shuck so far. Like he's prototype size. He's like I mentioned earlier, he's got like a great arm. And he's got like a lot of maturity for a rookie. Which a lot of people are using it to his detriment, but I think that'll help him like ease into the NFL a little bit faster than some of the other guys in this class. So like I feel like it's going to be him from the jump, and I would be really like, unless it was just a disaster, I'd be surprised if they pulled him to see what they have in Rattler.
How big a deal is Jake Hayner's injury for Jake Hayner?
I don't really think it is. Like, he has been mentioned and named by Kellen Moore as somebody who is part of this competition, but it really doesn't feel that way. And maybe that's just like us unfairly glossing over his opportunity here, but he's got a lot working against him beyond this injury, right? Like, he's the smallest guy in the quarterback room. He's really the least athletic guy in the quarterback room, and when he's been on the field, it hasn't looked good. Like, you can see it with Rattler when he's been on the field. It hasn't translated the same way into the game, so that way it has in practice for Jake Haener. So, like, this injury is a setback. Like, he's not able to get reps in these OTAs. But, like, I think this is like such a point of the season where it's really more about, like, the mental reps anyways. I think he's still getting those. So he's going to be able to step right in and compete in the exact same way that he would have been had he been like taking the actual physical reps during OTAs. I just don't think it's going to matter.
Anything from the new guys, whether it's a free agent here or there, the draft class, undrafted free agency, that has caught your eye for a notebook or something?
Yeah, I think it's been interesting that they've been using Vernon Broughton as basically the 3-4 defensive end. He was a guy who played primarily a 3-technique defensive tackle at Texas, and like they saw him as a guy who could move around, and he probably will. We'll probably see him move inside on some sub packages, but like primarily he's going to be a defensive end for them, which is really interesting. Outside of that, I think Calvin Banks looks like legit. As much as we're able to see from offensive line right now, he's a big guy who moves really well. And I think Justin Reed's going to be a really good player for this team. Like, I was kind of like a little down on that signing when they made it. I just felt like a little rich, but I think he's going to be really, really good. I think he's going to bring an element to that secondary they're missing.
Have a great weekend, Luke. We appreciate you being flexible with us today, and we'll talk next week.
Yeah, sounds good. Go Tigers, man.
Absolutely. Luke Johnson of The Advocate, covering the New Orleans Saints, a Reveille alum, LSU grad. He'll be watching the Tigers this weekend out there at the box, whatever it is they get started. And if we get any information over the next 45 minutes, we'll be sure to pass that along with LSU and Little Rock in a delay as of right now. Hopefully cranking things up 5, 6 o'clock. That's going to put the 2-3 game at real late this evening in Baton Rouge. We'll see how that all shakes out. When we come back, we'll talk some LSU football, specifically some recruiting. Tigers just got a commitment. We'll tell you about it coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. When I bought my first house, I didn't really consider closet space all that much. Turns out it's pretty important. So when my wife-to-be, who's now my wife, moved in, she looked around and goes, "Where am I supposed to put all my stuff?" I was like, well, we'll figure it out. So we had coats in the hallway closet, stuff up in the attic, stuff in the guest room. Like, it just wasn't a good situation for us closet-wise. You don't have to move to transform your closet situation. We did. We needed more space. Another kid on the way. We moved, and we now have more closet space, and it's great. You don't have to move. Just call One Bath and Closets. David Duvall can come in and absolutely redesign your entire closet. Customized to you. How many suits you got, how many shoes you got. He'll let you fill out a questionnaire, and then he'll customize a closet. It's going to function great, customized to you, and it's going to look fantastic as well. Promise you this. David Duvall and his team will do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. You can find all their great work as well as satisfied reviews at OneBathAndClosets.com. It's One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions And learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Let's talk a little LSU football as we do on Fridays. Preston Guy always joins us at 1:15. I thought LSU would start playing baseball at 2 o'clock, so we're not going to talk baseball in the second hour. I figured it would be a good time to talk football. Well, LSU didn't start at 2 o'clock. They're in a rain delay, but we can still talk football. Preston Guy from Tiger Bait joins us on the Jim's Firearms hotline. Preston, how we doing?
Hunt, as long as the game goes till 1 a.m. tonight, I think the good guys are going to be good to go.
I don't think LSU is going to be playing at 1 a.m., but I do think Rhode Island and Dallas Baptist are going to be playing near 1 a.m. That's the way this radar is looking, and that is why Jay Johnson decided to play the early game, because he doesn't want to do that. So, but I agree. Tigers are pretty good late at night, and guess what? Sunday's first pitch is scheduled for 8 o'clock. We hope LSU is in that game, and that one could be pretty late, so we'll see how this thing shakes out. I want to talk a little bit about this point in the calendar, Preston. It's time to, one, get the players into summer workouts, but two, the staff very much involved in recruiting and trying to take the next 2 months to get your class as locked up as you can before their season starts and you get signatures in December. How do you feel like this class right now looks on paper?
Well, the class is very star-studded right now, but it needs to fill up with some volume. You know, they need to get their pieces, and, you know, there's a couple, you know, what-ifs right now, like Blaine Bradford, the number one safety in the country out of Catholic High, is currently committed to Ohio State, which, you know, it doesn't matter what. That's not going to sit well with fans at any point. So they're going to have to do some work to work on things like that. But official visits are starting this weekend, actually. In fact, guys like Deuce Gerald's going to be on campus. We're talking about top 100 guy out of Georgia is here, and there's a few other guys to keep an eye on for sure. You know, Zayden Crimplin and whatnot. So definitely now is the time where recruiting is going to pick up heavy for this staff.
Do you expect some flurry is probably a heavy word, multiple commitments in the next 2 or 3 weeks to this class of 2026?
Yeah, I think the way you phrased it, multiple, but not a flurry. You know, we're not gonna. I don't think we see like a dozen people here in the next 2 weeks. You know what I mean? That'd be just wild. But I mean, we're talking about the class is going to be 90% put together by the end of summer. Okay, we're going to look up July 31st, and we're probably going to see, probably 20, if not more, people committed, and they're sitting at 9 right now. So I definitely think that we're due for a big boom in recruiting here shortly.
Let's talk about some of the guys in this class. Tristan Keys is the number 1 wide receiver in the country.
Yeah.
Depending on where you look, he's a 5-star across the board, top 5 player in the country by the composite. Out of Hattiesburg, how do you feel about the strength of that commitment as we sit here today?
I mean, he is still taking official visits. That's one thing to keep in mind. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, he's going to Miami this weekend. Okay. And of course, Miami's someone who's scary because they've been known to throw big money at players. A lot of times at players they might not think deserve it. Look at Carson Beck, look at the receiver who LSU brought in last year. Was it CJ Daniels, whatever? It's just scary to deal with Miami in the portal because they're a little sporadic with the guys they bring in and the money they throw sometimes. That being said, what makes me more nervous than the official visit, because frankly, if you're a 17-year-old kid with an opportunity to travel the country and look at all the elite programs, you're pretty dumb not to take those free opportunities. What scares me more than that is straight up the fact that he's from Mississippi. Mississippi and LSU recruiting has just been weird. I really don't have any other way how to put it other than weird for the last seemingly 25 years with, the kids they get and the kids they don't get. And especially on signing day, it's been weird vibes out of Mississippi. So that is what would make me nervous with Tristan Keys. That being said, when we're talking about a top 5 player nationally, number 1 receiver in the country, you need to do everything you can do to get him to be on campus.
Yeah, no doubt. And you're about to have a lot of guys moving on from this team that will be out of eligibility or moving on to the NFL after this year. So potentially some significant playing time to be had in his first year on campus. Looking at the in-state guys like Louisiana, you mentioned Blaine Bradford that's committed to Ohio State. How do you feel about Lamar Brown, big-time offense, defensive lineman, however you want to term it, from U High down the street?
Yeah, Lamar is a kid who has been on LSU's radar for a very, very long time. Of course, he's at U High. And he's a kid, every time I talk to him, especially this talk has ramped up a lot, watching Travis Hunter win the Heisman playing both sides of the ball. He wants to play offensive line and defensive line at college. Now, I do know this relationship with LSU's had its ups, had its downs, but the most recently I've heard from him is LSU's still on top, despite it all. So I think LSU stands in a good spot. Obviously, that's a kid you need to bring in, particularly if he's right. And he is a two-way player. Talking about if you could get an elite offensive and defensive lineman, I mean, my goodness, that's unheard of. So, essentially 2 positions in the trenches would be filled by one guy. Now, whether or not he's actually good enough to do it or has the endurance to pull that off, we'll see. Particularly defensive line tends to be a position that even if you're a starter, you're not on the field every down, So we'll see how that turns out. But I think LSU's in a good shape, but you got to be nervous with a kid like him simply because he's so highly touted. He's been on so many people's boards for so long. Every defensive line and coach in the country and offensive line coach in the country, wants a piece of that, and money's going to come flowing. So, there's a reason why, despite being literally on LSU's campus every day, and LSU's had an offer into him for probably 3 years now, that he hasn't pulled the trigger on that yet. He's certainly waiting.
We've seen not Ross Dellinger. Wilson Alexander wrote a great piece at The Advocate talking about LSU's roster building strategy with Austin Thomas and Brian Kelly and visiting the Seahawks and putting together a salary cap and understanding what you have to do with high school, what you got to do with college, and then how you allocate funds to each position. But as you look at the way LSU has approached roster building on the whole, how do you feel about it?
Pretty good. I mean, I like the roster that they've built this year. And I like that they're not willing to overpay for a kid. I think what Jakeem Stewart got out of USC a year ago and the concerns that I was hearing. I think that was a good way to handle that. I don't think you need to empty out your reserve for a guy. I mean, I think he's played either less than 15 high school football games, and he's signing for, $2 million or more to go to USC. It's a little concerning. I like that they're here's let me put it like this. A year ago, you whiffed on all these players asking for big money, and we heard that same excuse. But at the end of the day, you didn't have a roster that was talented enough to compete. Okay, this year I think they have a roster that's talented enough to compete for national, nationally on that big scale. But you're still hearing a little bit of that. Bryce Underwood, we are not going to overpay for him. Jakeem Stewart, we're not going to overpay for him. But then look at the guys you are getting. Look at who you did bring in. I mean, there's tons of talent that they were able to bring in both in the portal and the recruiting class. So it's not like, they're just bringing in nobody. So generally, yes, I like what they're doing with the money that they have. And I think their money this year is just under triple the money that they had last year to work with. So I think from everybody I've heard, Austin Thomas is one of the best in the business in terms of both generating money and using it well. So as far as my information goes, which I don't have everything here, but as far as I'm aware, I think they are doing a good job.
It's the name of the game. You got to get the guys in, and then you can coach them, try to win some football games. LSU appears to have done a pretty good job with that. We'll see as of Labor Day weekend in 2025. Preston, we appreciate some time. We'll talk again next week. Thanks, man.
All right, see you then. Enjoy your games tonight.
We sure will. Preston Guy, TigerBait.com. All your team coverage, recruiting coverage as well. They got you covered over at TigerBait.com. It's gone final in Conway, South Carolina. East Carolina 11, Florida 5. It was an early and often onslaught from the East Carolina offense. They chased Liam Peterson, the Florida ace, out of that game in the second inning and really controlled it start to finish, quite literally. So East Carolina moving on to the winner's bracket. Coastal will try to get there. Florida's got to go win 1, 2, 3, 4. They got to win 5 in a row. Is that right? They got to win Saturday morning, Sunday night, and Monday. They got to win 4 in a row. Florida does. So daunting task for the Gators. We'll get you caught up on the rest of the scores around the country, including in Clemson, South Carolina. And if we have any update on LSU and a potential start time, we'll do that as well. 30 minutes left to go here on a Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com is the website. How about 3 years of complimentary maintenance? Complimentary, that means free. It's nice to get like complimentary nuts at the bar, maybe a complimentary bottle of water when you go somewhere, but there's not a lot of stuff complimentary these days. 3 years of complimentary maintenance, that's pretty good perk if you're a Genesis driver. And I'll one-up it. 3 years of complimentary maintenance that is valet, meaning they're going to come get your car, bring it to the service aisle, handle all those issues, whether it's the oil change, wiper fluid, change the wipers, air filter, whatever. They'll get it done. They'll bring it right back to you. And with that loaner, you don't have to miss a beat with work, getting the kids wherever they need to go. It's all part of being a Genesis driver. Go see my friends at Airline near Piku, across from Women's Hospital, and just have a discussion with them. You've probably never been over there. You've probably never been behind the wheel of a Genesis. Most haven't. They're fairly new to the game. It's a luxury brand of vehicle at a reasonable price, and the experience from buying to driving to service to your relationship with the dealership is going to be second to none. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge. You can find them online at genesisofbatonrouge.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp.
Friday shows brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Go check out the menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. Want to feed the family? Check out the big haul there. A lot of awesome jumbo Gulf shrimp, crispy fried catfish. If you want to feed a tailgate party this weekend at the box, Corks can cover you there. If you're just looking to go grab a late lunch or some food on the way home from the work week on a Friday, Corks is an awesome option. It is truly great fried catfish and fried shrimp. If you're one of those folks who goes, I'm from South Louisiana, I'm not getting my fried seafood in a drive-thru. I'm just not doing it. Just try it once. I promise you, you will think it is awesome. Get the Cork sauce. Beignet bites, also quite good for the dessert. All right, let's go check out the scoreboard here. As I mentioned, East Carolina has finished off Florida 11-6, their final there from Conway. East Carolina moves on to the winner's bracket, where they'll probably play Coastal tomorrow. Cincinnati and Wake Forest play in the 7th inning. Cincinnati leads Wake Forest 10-5 in Knoxville. The winner probably gets Tennessee. Wake threw its ace. Best pitcher they had to give 8 runs in 2 innings. Cincinnati just lit him up. Cincinnati, big on stealing bases. And if they get Tennessee tomorrow and Marcus Phillips, they're going to be running if they can get on base. Now, easier said than done getting on base against Marcus Phillips. But if you do, you can run, and Cincinnati certainly will. Louisville is playing in Nashville against East Tennessee State. They lead 4-2 right now in the bottom of the 4th inning. And I'm noticing that the 1 seeds are not really asserting themselves offensively. Texas is only up 2-1 on Houston Christian in the bottom of the 4th inning. Florida State just up 1-0 on Bethune-Cookman in the top of the 2nd. Arkansas is in a 1-1 game in the 2nd inning against North Dakota State. So even North Carolina, who's won their game, that game's gone final, they only won 4-0 against Holy Cross. And you look at that, and it's just a little bit more ammunition to go with one of your better guys. And I still don't believe that LSU should have thrown Paul Skeens against Tulane. But if you bring it to this current LSU team, I just don't think it's the best idea to just go bullpen it when you've got 2 aces like LSU does. I think your best idea is to take control of those first 2 games. So a lot of the talk all week long has been he's going to go with Cade Anderson. I'm not going to rule out Anthony Ianson at all. in this game on Friday. I think there is a reasonable chance that Jay Johnson did what he did in Hoover last week to give himself options. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see Cade Anderson. It would not surprise me at all to see Anthony Ianson. But I think in either event, you give yourself a big advantage in both games because you've got those guys pitching as well as they are. As far as the bullpen guys, here's your hope today if you're LSU. Whenever they play, you give the ball to Anderson, you give the ball to Ianson, one of those two, and if you can get 7 innings, which is a lot to ask, but they've done that a lot. If you can give 7 innings, at that point you can read and react to the game. And if it's time to go with DJ Primo, and it's time to go with Connor Benj, and it's time to go with William Schmidt because it's 13-1, do it. If it's 3-1 or 5-4, and you need to go with Zach Callender, Case, and Evans, awesome. You do what you have to do to win the game. What I'm ruling out today, this is what I'm ruling out, and I said this exact same thing in this exact chair 2 years ago when I was in this chair and found out Paul Skeens was pitching against Tulane. You are not throwing one of your aces with the intent that you're going to get up 8-0 in the third and pull them so they can come back Monday. When you put one of your dudes on the mound on Friday of a regional, his job is to take the baseball as long as he can take it. And no 5-0 after 1 or 8-0 after 3 is a pull the rope deal so you can burn up your bullpen. Because you have to walk too fine a line between, okay, just hypothetically, it's 8-0 in the fourth. Let's play this around. It's 8-0 in the fourth. And you want to go to William Schmidt, who I think's got a brilliant career, and I think next year is probably pitching on Saturday of the regional in the box. But he's had issues in SEC games when the lights get really bright, throwing the ball over the plate. So you yank your starter to bring him back on Monday, maybe, because it's 8-0 in the fourth, and he's thrown 48 pitches. And you go to Schmidt. And then he walks a guy and hits the guy, and then a guy bloops in a double, and then he throws a wild pitch, and then the guy hits a 3-run homer, and now it's 8-4. And now you got to send Cowan down to the bullpen, or Evans down to the bullpen, or Shores down to the bullpen, just because you've got an insurance policy for Monday. No. When you decide on Friday that Skeens is pitching, he's going 125 pitches complete game, and he did. When you decide that Ianson or Anderson is pitching today, they are taking that baton until you've got to take it from them. And so if LSU scores 5 runs in the first 2 innings and it's 5-0, which I'd be thrilled with, don't immediately look at your TV or sit at the box in the beer stand and go, hey, can we maybe get Primo up here? No, you can't. You give Ianson the baseball, you give Anderson the baseball, and you go. So that's what I anticipate LSU doing. If you missed the top of the show, this was priceless material from Michael Cobble. We called Cobble to get an update from the box. Is the tarp on the field? Are they warming up? Who's making these calls? Is Little Rock still there? Are they going back to the hotel? Like, what's the deal? And we got all that information from him. And the other piece of information we got is he went down to the field because they got to shoot, for the news, they got to shoot them pulling the tarp and whatever. And he saw that LSU's lineup was posted in the dugout. So he could see 1 through 9. And then the 10th line is the starting pitcher. And it was filled out, but there was tape over it. And at this point, I think there are probably some LSU fans who are like, God, so annoying. And I just giggle. I giggle, honestly. Because this is the way it's going to be until Jay Johnson takes his cap off and then vacates the office. Because he is going to hide that starting pitcher as long as he possibly can. Which is why first pitch was scheduled for 40 minutes ago. And the game was delayed 1 hour before it started. And we still don't have an announcement of a starting pitcher. So the way this is going to work, as far as the starter goes, is they will announce at some point in the next probably hour and a half when the start time is. And then 30 minutes after that, LSU will tweet out its lineup. Now, maybe, because I've been in the press box, this is information that you don't necessarily have if you've never been in the press box. Bill Franquez does get the lineups from the two coaches, and he prints them out, and he puts them in the press box where all the press can go grab one, so you've got it to keep score, whatever you're doing. And maybe before LSU baseball tweets it out, the press gets it, and like Koki usually takes a picture of it, or whatever the case may be. But that's when you'll get the starting pitcher. I believe it to be Ianson or Anderson, but I will sit here right now and I'll tell you that Jay works very methodically. He has a reason for everything, and he did not throw those two guys on Friday without giving himself options for today. And so to just open my mind, I'm going, okay, he gave himself options to give himself options. I believe Ianson is an option in this game tonight. We'll see what he decides to go with. I am, as I sit here today, very comfortable with both of those guys in this game on Friday, and I'm very comfortable with both of them in the game on Saturday. I don't feel like there's an ace to be afraid of here or there, like we talk all the time about when Ben Sheets and ULM came to Baton Rouge in the 90s and you had to go throw your ace, so they had to throw Coogan in that game. I don't feel like this is a situation like North Carolina dealt with today, where Kyson Witherspoon's potentially waiting on the other side. Like, I don't feel like that's a big issue in this one, so I'm good with going ahead and throwing either one of them. I will tell you that there are some things blowing up on my phone right now that suggest a new start time. It's coming pretty quickly, relatively speaking. I'm not going to blow this thing open right now. I'm really not trying to play coy. It's going to be in a couple of hours. If we find out over the next 15 minutes, which I think an announcement from LSU may come in the next 15 minutes, I will go ahead and tell you that. I will promise you this as well. We do broadcast the games on Eagle 98.1. Eagle has to know when they need to hit pregame, so they are in constant communication. So we will find out pretty quickly, and that can be public information. It's when we need to put the pregame show on. So we'll let you know. If I don't know in the next 18 minutes, Matt is at walk-ons for his show, and Matt will let you know as quickly as we do find out. So if you're looking for updates and you're driving and you don't want to refresh Twitter all the time, if you listen to us for the next 35, 40 minutes, you're going to get an updated start time. I can promise that's coming. So I promise I'm not playing coy, but I am trying to give you information. We will have it in the next 30 minutes, a start time. It has not been announced yet, and it hasn't been officialized yet, but we'll get it here pretty quickly. Southern Cal jumps out to a 1-0 lead on TCU up in Corvallis. Arkansas and North Dakota State tied at 2 in the second inning. I'm not sure. Oh, Arkansas went to their bullpen guy. They're saving Zach Root and Gage Wood for the rest of the regional, and that hadn't gone awesome in the first 2 innings, but you got to figure that Arkansas's bats are going to wake up and they'll pull away from that one. The one that does involve LSU at this point, they're underway in Clemson. The 2-3 game between the 2nd seed West Virginia and the 3rd seed Kentucky is in the bottom of the 3rd inning. That game is scoreless to this point. Kentucky did throw its ace today, who's been throwing on Sundays to give them an advantage on Sundays because he's not as good as the SEC aces, but he's their best arm. He's pitching today against West Virginia, so I'll keep you updated on that over the next 17 minutes while we're still here with you. Our Friday show is brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. We'll step aside, come back, and close things out. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is the website. Look, storm season is around the corner. There's always another one around the corner here in South Louisiana. Do you need someone to look at your insurance policy and make sure that your property policy reads properly? Do you know what your co-insurance penalty is? Do you even know what co-insurance is? A lot of business owners don't. Not part of your general day at the office. But if you're underinsured and you have a loss, you could pay penalties. Do you know what your business interruption limit is? If you can't go into work, can't produce, is insurance going to pay for that? Well, that's all part of a good property policy. And if you just looked at the premium or just took what your broker handed you at your last renewal, you might want another set of eyeballs on that. And Jonathan Carvo and his team at the Highland Insurance Group are happy to do it as storm season is upon us. So contact them at HighlandIG.com. Tell them you heard about them on the Hunt Palmer Show. Hey, I'd really like somebody to check my property policy, make sure everything is in order. They're technical experts, and they have dozens of markets that can help you place the policy with the right market at the right price as storm season approaches. It's the Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
All right, shout out to Corks. Shout out Michael Cobble, WBRZ. Shout out Preston Guy, TigerBait.com. Shout out Luke Johnson from The Advocate, all for jumping aboard, giving us a little bit of time here on this Friday. I got some predictions. I didn't have this planned for today because I thought LSU would already be playing in the regional, but I'll give you some predictions for the regional if you're interested at this point. One, I think Jared Jones hits 2 homers. I gave you this South Carolina. When he faces mediocre pitching, and he will see some mediocre pitching this weekend, he hits it a long way. He does it every Tuesday, and he's going to do it when you play Little Rock and when you get to a Sunday, when you get to potentially a Monday. I got Jared Jones hitting the ball over the wall at least 2 times this weekend. I think Derek Curiel is going to hit the ball hard this weekend. I think he's going to be a positive impact on LSU. I think on the pitching side, Jaden Newt is going to play a big role this weekend. I fully expect Anthony Ianson and Cade Anderson to start the first 2 games for LSU. And I fully expect, should LSU play close games, that Zach Cowan and Kason Evans are going to have to be called on here. And I think Jay is more comfortable now with Jaden Newt starting a game, whether that's Sunday night in the regional championship or Monday in a win or your season's over game, maybe even a Sunday morning game if you've lost a game, than he is Chase Shores. I think Shores has cemented himself in the bullpen as a guy that I think you're going to get the same amount of length from both of them. I think both of those guys are 65 pitch guys at their max. But I think Newt at the front end of a game. And I feel really good about Jaden Newt taking the ball at the front end of a game. I think that he got some seasoning in the midweek games, and I think you saw it blossom in a full stadium in Hoover against a good team, a good lineup in Ole Miss that hits the long ball. Will Furness got him once, but he struck out 7. And that was the perfect audition to come to the box in a more friendly crowd, even though that one was very friendly, against a lesser lineup, very likely, to go. So I think that those 3 guys, I love Jared Jones, I love Derek Curiel, I love Jaden Newt as guys who are going to be big this weekend. Let me make sure this is official. I believe I've got it. John Eads, WAFB. And we don't have it from LSU, but I feel comfortable putting this out there since John Eads has. I think you can expect LSU and Little Rock to start very quickly after 5 o'clock. We're a few minutes before 3 o'clock right now, 2:51. So LSU and Little Rock should start 5:05-ish at the box. So you can text your friends. That's going to be coming up here very shortly. The official announcement from LSU should be coming. But I had heard that. That's coming from, look, I have media friends in the press box. I don't think that's a huge secret. There's some chatter that goes on up there. I don't think it's, but I didn't want to say anything that was going to be wrong. Okay? I'm getting text while I'm on the air. That's the text I got. It's coming now on Twitter. Folks are comfortable talking about it. I'm clearly not at the box, but if you're headed that way, 5:05 is when it looks like the first pitch is going to be. So good for Moscona. AFR is going to have a pretty captive audience there at walk-ons for the next few minutes. But if you just extrapolate that out, baseball can be weird. You know that timing can be awkward. But if LSU and Little Rock start at 5 o'clock, then you're going to have that go until 8:30. You're looking at a 9:15 first pitch for Rhode Island and Dallas Baptist. And that is, candidly, why you schedule the first game. You build in a buffer for your team to get on the field, get off the field, and get in bed. And the loser of that game tonight between Rhode Island and Dallas Baptist is going to have to come back on minimal sleep and play a 1 o'clock game tomorrow. And the winner of that game is not going to get in bed until, 2 o'clock in the morning? So it's not by design that you make it rain and force them into bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, but it is by design that you're first and you get to go and play as quickly as you can. I'm not a weather guy. Y'all know that. I feel like the forecast for the next 3 days is really good. So hopefully this is now in the rearview mirror. Hopefully we can start this thing up at 5:05, and hopefully LSU puts the thing to bed at an 8 o'clock game on Sunday. I gave you why I have so much confidence earlier in the show. I just feel like LSU's 1-2 is going to be really tough for these two teams to handle. And then I think they've got enough quality arms on the back end to make that train go. So I like LSU this weekend. I like the draw. And I'm curious to see exactly what that lineup is when it comes out here in a couple of hours. I told you in the last segment, don't be stunned if it's not Cade Anderson. It could be Anthony Hines. And I'd be stunned if it was Jaden Newt or Chase Shores or somebody like that. But I think that there are reasons Jay Johnson gave himself some options last Friday when he put both those guys in the game. And just deducing that in my head, I'm thinking there's a decent chance he's going to go ahead and make that flip. So we'll see. I like either one of them on the mound, as I've said plenty of times. So tons of baseball over this weekend. I will be in absolute heaven. And, hey, I get to go to the box and see the first pitch now, which was not going to be the case when my show was 1 to 3 and they were going to start at 2 o'clock. I got some heat from the folks in the Bayou Ford chat for wearing Little Rock colors, apparently. I'm in red. I'll be honest.
You supporter of the Trojans?
Here's what happened. Dead honest. Close to the pin, last week at the golf tournament, won a new belt.
So you had to match the belt?
The belt has some red accents, and it's navy.
Okay.
So we wanted to wear something that kind of went with the belt.
That's understandable.
So that's what I went with. I like the belt. It's got the whole Southern Trace golf course on it, including the clubhouse. It's nice. I earned it with an incredible pitching wedge shot, and I wanted to wear it today, so I did.
Well, how did you finish in the tournament though overall?
Well, we talked about that. I don't think it needs to be rehashed.
Okay, I couldn't remember if we talked about it. I just wanted to make sure we mentioned it.
We did. 11th out of a 12-team flight.
Yeah.
So not great performance, but a lot of fun was had, and there were some beverages involved, so that was
course.
great. But I do have the opportunity to go home and change if I want to out of the Little Rock colors. Probably not. Probably just going to go to the box and watch baseball.
Why is every team in Arkansas red? It's unoriginal as hell. That's not even
Arkansas
on you.
State's
I just
got
realized
red.
that. Nope.
Central Arkansas is purple. So
That's true. But it's basically red. It's red and blue combined.
In Pine Bluff, black and gold. But yeah, you've got some Little Rock. You've got Arkansas State. You got a lot of red working in the natural state. That's right.
There you go.
We're done. Matt's gonna have some fun today. He's gonna drive you home or to the box or wherever from over at Walk-Ons. Appreciate y'all for hanging out. Hopefully, when we're back on the mic on Monday, the Tigers have moved on to the Super. Maybe we've got a pregame show for a night Monday game. Either way, hope you'll have a great weekend. We're back tomorrow. Monday.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.